どうも皆さん元気でしょうか。ランディです。今回のマリーントークは皆さんお待ちかね元教官に話を伺うことができました。今回皆さんの質問に答えていただきましたニコルス元二等軍曹は教官としての3年を含む12年間を海兵隊輸送部で務め上げた後に除隊、現在は世界規模フィットネス企業であります F45 の方で軍人が軍から民間へと移行する手助けとしてフィットネスインストラクターになるトレーニングを提供したり、またフィットネスジムのオーナーになるための手助け等を行っております。Sorry about that long thing there, Cesar Nichols. Thanks for being here.
That's right. おはようございます。私はお名前マイクさんですか。
マイクさん。
That's about all the Japanese I know. マイクさん。
マイクさん。はい。ではマイクさんとですね、今日は皆さんからいただいた質問を答えたいと思います。Okay, so what's an average day for a DI like?
It's miserable. First and foremost, it's absolutely miserable. When you just to go through drill instructor school, first off, you do it as a recruit to join the Marines, and then you go to drill instructor school, and it's 3 months long, just like recruit training. To me, it was more demanding than being a recruit, because a recruit, you just follow orders and directives. Here, you're in the leadership role, trying to make sure that you're the subject matter expert with the intensity and enthusiasm that requires a drill instructor to get the best results from recruits. So it's the hardest, but the most rewarding job I've ever done. So drill instructor school consists of everything from waking up at 0 dark 30, standing in formation, long physical training sessions, coming back, hygiene, and just like you did as a recruit, jump in a shower. You got 20 minutes to change over, uniform inspections, rifle manual, drill. One of the biggest things that we learn as drill instructors is, like rifle manual and sword manual and close order drill. And you have to learn, I think, like that. Yeah. So the weapon, right? So, you have to become the master of that, right? And you have to learn how to teach it. Not only do you have to master it from an instructional standpoint, because you got to teach it, but you have to know every rifle movement verbatim. And that could take 3 pages to say, the movement I explain and demonstrate is left shoulder arms. When given in cadence, the command sounds is like this: left shoulder arms. When given in, and so basically you have to explain it to the T, and you have to remember it's an arduous process. But, it's crazy. I was a drill instructor back in 2000 to 2003. It's crazy. It's 20 years ago, but it's the hardest job I've ever done, but the most rewarding as far as like the ripple effect in the leadership things that you learn being a drill instructor. So it's amazing, but brutal.
Now, you were a senior drill instructor, right?
Yeah. So I ended up doing 8 platoons as a drill instructor, 6 platoons of that as a green belt drill instructor, and 2 platoons as a senior drill instructor, which basically means you oversee the platoon and you wear the black belt, and you're in charge of the drill instructors that teach and train and educate and kind of run the show, the day-to-day operations. And the senior is there to facilitate the success of the platoon with the drill instructors and the recruits. When you're going through drill instructor school, you can't wait to get across the street to start training recruits. And then you get across the street to start training recruits. And then you realize after about 5 minutes of yelling and screaming that this is going to be a long 3 months, long. And you become miserable because you get headaches, your throat's bleeding, and the recruits are pissing you off, right? Because that's what recruits do.
Right.
And it's arduous. And then next thing you know, you're on your feet for 12 to 15 hours. Your feet are swollen, you're tired, you're exhausted, and recruits won't listen. So it makes you kind of go a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So what was the one thing during a cycle that you always hated, that you're like, oh my God, here we go again? This is the one thing during the cycle I hate.
Every time, I don't know if you remember this, but there's the senior drill instructor inspection and the the series commanders inspection, company commanders, then battalion commanders. I hated that because, of course, we have to teach the recruits on how to prepare for an inspection and how to wear your uniform and prepare for that. But we as drill instructors, we looked at it as an opportunity to just lose our mind and go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and just throw stuff and just make it as miserable as possible for the recruits. But when you're in the middle of the process, from the outside looking in, it looks amazing. Wow, I mean, look, these guys are going crazy on these people. But from our perspective, man, it's exhausting. Giving your best effort all the time is exhausting. So every time we had those inspections, I just hated it, but I knew that it had to happen. Yeah, honestly, it's a very fine line. It's easily to go so far over that you kind of lose control and lose who you really are as a person. For me, by the grace of God, I met my wife when I was a drill instructor, and I started going to church. And so like my perspective was shifting and changing because I had a new relationship and new walk with Christ, and all these things were going on the side. So the things that, a lot of people struggle with as being drill instructors and really finding a way to balance, the intensity that comes with being a drill instructor. A lot of people lose their way. And, and that's where leaders like myself and other people have to step in and say, you help people get back on the right path. But a lot of the times, overall, most of them are amazing people, just trying to do the right thing, just trying to be their best as a Marine and as a drill instructor. And it's a hard world to balance because you spend all day yelling and screaming, and then you get off and now you're supposed to be normal. I mean, it's an oxymoron, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you train months and months and months and program yourself to be one way. And then once you're trained and programmed, now you got to come home and deconnect. It's like military does a really good job at training and preparing and getting everybody like mission ready. What's really hard, and I think most servicemen and women struggle on the transition back to being Michael and Randy. It's hard to find who you are. The civilian community needs our leadership. They don't need our rank structure. Right. And a lot of people that are in the military get so caught up in that rank structure that they lose who they are. And so like right now, I help servicemen and women around the globe transition out of the military into a career in the fitness industry with his here at F45. And the best part about it is we get to work with the service members up to 6 months before they leave the military. So me and my team are able to help them transition before they leave the military. And that's a program that is really truly making a tremendous difference in people's lives.
There needs to be a deprogramming program from the military.
And that's what I get to do now. So our program is helping service members that have a passion for fitness and a passion for people that want to get out of the military and help people through fitness. With F45 is basically they can be with us for up to 6 months, and basically they get orders from the military to work at F45. And they don't even do their job in the military anymore. They're actually their orders are to F45, and we help provide 20 hours a week of on-the-job training and 20 hours of online education and certifications. So basically that last 6 months, as long as they got orders to us, we take care of them and we get them basically disconnected before they get out. I was in Iraq in 2006 to 2007. As soon as I came back from Iraq, I actually came back a month early so I can check out. And then I was out of the Marine Corps March 25th, 2007. And I had minimal time to transition. I had no program to help me. It was just like I was in the war zone to good luck, have a great life. By the grace of God, look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I am in a very amazing position as the Director of Military Operations for F45, which is a global fitness company. They have over 2,000 studios in 60 plus countries around the globe. One of the things I think that helped me is number one is I gave my life to Christ, and I just kind of put my foundation around that. And number two is I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, I don't do any of that. So it kind of like, no matter if you served in the military, there's always going to be some issues that you have to learn to work through. I don't compound those issues with, alcohol, drugs, or anything like that. So to me, that's been like my saving grace, and it's allowed me to, stumble, but never fall. You know what I mean? Actually, there's been a couple times where I've yelled at the top of my lungs, and I completely got dizzy, where I almost passed out. Personally, I've never seen anybody pass out from doing it, but I have seen drill instructors that lock their knees in formation and pass out. Yeah. So I used to, the campaign cover was like this, right? So every time something funny would happen, I would just put my head down, look at the ground, just start laughing. Recruits are funny as hell. I mean, there's some that come and are just even kill, and they're never funny. You never know they even exist, really. Mm-hmm. They just kind of go with the flow, and then you got some goofballs that always a class clown and getting themselves in trouble. So they keep us entertained. Let's just put it that way. The reality of it is 3 months is going to be measurable no matter how you slice it. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it's extremely demanding and very hard, and then you start to see recruits' personalities, and their personalities start to come out, and then you as a drill instructor start to show your personality, and it becomes a fun dynamic if you can find that balance. It's really like laying the foundation of do what I say, when I say to do it, and how I say to do it, and we get them there, then we can relax. But if we don't never get them there, we don't relax. We just keep putting extreme pressure and putting pain in their body until they conform. And then once they conform, then we can relax and enjoy the journey. Yeah, I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was.
There's just some that work well together and some that don't, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just different seasons, like some platoons just it clicks and everything works well. You got the right mixture of drill instructors that balance each other out. Because if you have too extreme one way or the other, it just causes more problems. And sometimes you get like my best platoon ever was my last green belt cycle as a J, which is the person that teaches them everything. We took everything, we won everything, we destroyed the company, we blew everybody out the water. As far as performance, when we ran our physical fitness tests, our practical application tests, our drills, everything, we destroyed everybody. That was my best platoon. And then you have shitty platoons where they can't even get out their own way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I went down on a drill field, at a minimum, you got 1 week before you picked up your next platoon. I guess back in the old days, the old Corps, they would graduate them in the morning and then pick a platoon up in the evening or afternoon. Thank God I didn't experience that. Any drill instructors out there listening to this and you had to do that, hey, better you than me. Because there was times where we got 4 or 5 weeks in between cycles. So we call them cycles. Mm-hmm. And but we'd probably get a week or 2 off, and then we'd have to do our swim qual, our rifle range, all of our PME, so that we could stay on, Marine, traditional Marine stuff outside of being a drill instructor. Let me see if I got it. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is let me turn off my background. Give me a second. Check this out. So this is my campaign cover thing.
Right.
So my recruits drew this. And so basically it represents, we always ask the recruits to represent whatever you think about me, go ahead and draw it. And so you can see he's like stabbing them in the neck. And, and then on this side, you see the Eagle Globe and Anchor. And actually this signature right here is Gunnery Sergeant Arlie Ermes. He signed this campaign cover for me. So I don't know if I got an IT card in here. So here's my campaign cover. For those that do not know what a campaign cover is. And inside the campaign cover, we always kept T cards. T cards are training day cards. And so this is not the IT card that you're talking about, but this is T54, T55, T56. And so basically it tells us our schedule, where we need to be and when we need to be there. So anyway, you can't really see it. I thought I had the IT card in there, but it's not in there. So I don't know where it's at. But what's on there is it's a list of do's and don'ts, what you can and cannot do with the recruits when it comes to incentive. IT, for those that do not know, IT basically means incentive training. And that means that the drill instructor can take you to the quarterdeck, or the senior can take you out to the pit and do the whole platoon. But it tells you basically what exercises you can do, how long you can do those exercises. And, drill instructors follow that to the T. I mean, we would never go over any of that. You know what I mean? We follow the rules. That's what drill instructors do. We follow the rules. We look at the rules. It says you can do push-ups, 20 of them, begin. And you do 20. Oh, that's 20. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, drill instructors. It's easy to get caught. Let's be real. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. And, like you put them on the quarterdeck to incentivize their performance. It's really focused on muscle fatigue, muscle endurance. These types of things force your body from a chemical standpoint to transform and change. I like to say the greater the resistance in life, the greater the change. And our job as Marines and Marine Corps drill instructors is to put as much stress and as much pressure on your body to force transformation and change, period, point blank, bottom line. So let me give you an example. We go out and do the obstacle course for the day. If the platoon did well, for the most part, the senior drill instructor wouldn't take you to the pit after. But if your platoon performed shitty, hey, guaranteed everyone's going to the pit. But if the platoon performed well and they had a couple people that performed bad, then we would just basically take those kids to the pit, because we need to put more pressure on them so they can actually stay with the platoon. Of course, in the beginning, your body goes backwards before it goes forward. So, you're sore, you can't move, yada, yada, yada. We force transformation and change. The greater the resistance, the greater the change. Embrace the pain. Honestly, I have no idea. It was after my time. I got out in 2007. There was no scopes utilized when I was there. So I'm not exactly sure when that was implemented. Here's the reality. The military today is more effective and efficient than you can ever. They may not be as hardcore disciplined the way that old school, I'll punch you in your throat mentality. You know what I mean?
Right.
But our Marines and our sailors and our soldiers and our airmen are better than we ever been. And these cats are smart, especially those Air Force cats. They're figuring out rotational earth and pull and gravity and close to the equator and, the stars, the moon, and, Kentucky windage. It would fathom people's mind on how smart our servicemen and women are nowadays.
Being in the military is like going to learn karate. You do it because you hope you don't have to use it.
Yeah.
And to say that,
I trained 12 years to go to combat, for one time. I mean, you don't want to go, but if you have to go, it needs to be second nature to the point where you can help save people's lives. And there's people that in the military, they go and they do the wrong thing for the wrong reasons. And that's normally the stories that you hear on the news, and, people taking advantage of the villagers or whatever.
Yeah,
I can honestly say 98% of all the servicemen and women are amazing people trying to do the right thing for the right reasons. And then we can't let the bad apples spoil it for the rest of the people. There's some amazing people. And, we try to weed them out as best we possibly can. Like, as a drill instructor, we would put as much pressure on these young men as possible to try to phase them out, right? Try to, look, if you don't have what it takes, get out of here. You go serve somewhere else. But we would try to get rid of as many as we possibly can, because if we just let everybody through, then we'll just have a discombobulated military, branch. And that's not what we want. Does it happen? Absolutely. I mean, there's con artists, no matter if it's military or civilian sector. There's people that can milk the system and get away with it. It's just the way it is. Well, I can tell you this. I was on the drill field when 9/11 happened on the Tuesday. I was a drill instructor picking up my third or fourth platoon. And we knew instantly. So it happened on a Tuesday. We were scheduled to pick up our platoon on Friday. But because the airports got shut down for a couple of days, we didn't pick up our platoon to Saturday. So we knew right from the very beginning that we as a nation are at war. We're under attack. And we knew that, let's just say the intensity in the way that we train people got a lot higher and more enthusiastic in the way that we approach it, because we knew you're going to combat. Recruits that I've trained have gone to combat and they've lost their lives. I've had drill instructors that I served on a drill field with. They left the drill field. They went to Iraq or Afghanistan and they lost their lives. I have other service members that went and got hurt and, have a Purple Heart. And it's just the way it is. You can't explain it. You have no choice. You have no choice but to give your best effort to help people around you so that they don't fail and cause someone else to die.
How many platoons would you train on average in a career?
So I train, like for me personally, I train 8 platoons to become United States Marines, 2 of that as a senior drill instructor. Some people train 4 or 5, some people train 12. It just really depends on the unique situation for your battalion, for your company, how long you're down on a drill field. When you get orders to a drill field, at least when I was there, you had to be there for 3 years. Back in the olden days, you'd have to be there for 2 years. But some people go down for 3 years and they extend for a year. So if you extend for a year, you can get up to 12 cycles. You become a chief drill instructor, stuff like that.
Okay. And what if you wanted to go train officers? How would you request that as a drill instructor?
So when you're on the drill field, there's quotas that come down, and you can volunteer to go do it, or you get voluntold to go do it.
Very well. Well, I appreciate your time. This has been great.
Well, thank you for your time. I'm going to go enjoy my family for the weekend. So you have a great night.
Yes, sir. You too. I appreciate your time. Thanks again. Hoorah.
Hoorah.